What's up, Facebook fam and YouTube fam? Mr.PeeebZ here. Today's video, we're replacing the Water Panel Evaporator Filter. Tools you're going to need for this are going to be a flat or a Phillips head screwdriver and your new filter. I don't have a new filter, so what I'm going to do is just kind of walk you through how to do it. Typically this is something that we do in the winter time because the Water Panel Evaporator provides humidity for your house in the dry season, which is typically cold in winter. So I'm doing this now because shout out to my man Steve Green. He suggested it in the comment section. So we're doing what you guys want. We're doing what the people want. We're going to be replacing this. I already know that this particular panel, by the way, these need to be switched out once a year. This particular one does not have any screws or anything that needs to be unscrewed. Yours might have a couple of recessed screws on the bottom or the sides or the top. Double check. This one just pops. Okay, before we even do anything, before we even touch the evaporator panel to replace the filter, first steps first, you're going to go to your stat. Turn your furnace off, turn your fan off from your stat. Then you're going to come over here, and a lot of times you're going to have an on and off switch to your furnace. I would recommend turning it off, shutting the whole power down to the unit before you do any service work yourself. It's just good rule of thumb. Also, there's a supply line for the water that runs on this copper line, and it goes directly to my water tank. I'm going to go ahead and turn the bleeder valve off on that to stop water from flowing over my panel to make a big mess. All I'm doing is just preventing any issues or any mess from happening while I'm replacing this panel.
Be careful not to break anything. You have a step stool, I would suggest putting a step stool down.
Okay, there we go. We're going to take the panel off. Look at the inside. It's always good to note when you're done with all this and done replacing your filter here to wipe all this stuff down. You're going to want to wipe the inside of the panel down. You're going to want to wipe down all the inside of the housing here for the filter. As you can see, it has a line to supply a supply line to help run water down your filter for your evaporator panel. What I'd suggest is in the wintertime, if you're replacing this is bone dry because it's summertime. So this ain't even being turned on right now. In the wintertime, you might want to have a beach towel ready because you're going to have some over spillage and some water leaking out that you're going to want, and you don't want to make a mess. So I would suggest maybe tucking in a towel down below, or having it on hand in case you need to pick up a mess. This is super simple, guys. It's super simple. It's inside of a housing that just kind of shift it out easy. Be careful, some of the stuff's brittle. It comes right out like so. So we're going to take this off. Take a good look at the inside of the housing here. This all needs to be wiped down and cleaned. This should all be wiped down and cleaned. We're going to set this to the side. Real simple. You just take the filter right out. You take your new filter. Obviously, before you put the new filter in, wipe down the inside, clean the whole thing out. And like I said, if it's in the wintertime, this thing's going to be filled with moisture and water. Put the filter back in the housing. It's got two clips on the inside here. Yours might be slightly different, but they're all very similar. We're going to start from the bottom first because, as you can tell, there's a recessed area on the condensate line going down. So we're going to set that in first, then put the top in. Boom, it clicks right in. We're done. So obviously you wipe it all down, make sure everything's good. Put your panel back in, cover panel. Boom, once a year. Takes 5 minutes. Easy as that. Double check when you set the water panel evaporator filter back in, because if it doesn't line up exactly with the condensate line where it drips down into, it's going to cause you all sorts of issues and start leaking water all over. Don't panic, you just didn't put it in there correctly. Just shift it to where it needs to go. I would suggest doing that prior to putting the cover back on. Make sure it's all working at 100%. When it is, pop that panel back on and you're good to go. And then just like you started, to cut the power, you turn the stat off, you cut the power, and you stop the bleeder valve from your evaporator panel. We're just going to do that in reverse. Once the filter's been replaced, go ahead and turn the bleeder valve back on, flip the switch back on your furnace, and go ahead and turn your thermostat back on. And you are good to go. Now, well, I hope I was able to help you guys out replacing your evaporator water panel filter. And thanks for watching my video. Have a blessed day.